A storm. No. Blizzard of opportunity. That is what 2023 was like for me. This year felt like the longest winter, but not really in the sense that most people would describe it. Most see winter as barren, lifeless, and cold. I describe this kind of winter as a long waiting period, one of rest, rehabilitation, and anticipation. That's what 2023 was like. I have the privilege of looking back and seeing in the waiting that there was relationships that were being repaired, but in that waiting, I did feel restless and wanting my full strength to return. Even in my reality, that wasn't the case, and it may never come. Accepting the journey I have been on in 2023, all the while preparing for what 2024 will lead me to, is exactly what led me to choosing my aspirations for this year. My soul yearns to create unapologetically. Redundantly enough, I also know I have to ground myself in what I build, balance, and protect. One of my favorite habits I instilled in 2023 was simply being still, letting my mind let go of the loudness of the world to watch and listen to how I believe my life should be lived. I realized what a flip-flop society I was born into. One that has no value in the importance of balance. How one bad thing cannot simply be fixed by an extreme of one good thing. Unfortunately, it's only in our human nature to swing from extreme to extreme, because that's what makes sense and gets the attention of others. Truth is, bad things will come from too much of a good thing in our human perspective. Balance is what brings life, and I see it every day. How snow brings death to plants, making forest creatures starve and shiver. It is dangerous to travel in, forcing us humans to hunker down at home while stressing how that month's coin will be made when a day of work seems wasted. But in that harsh climate, life is found. Snow allows a certain stillness in the world. A reminder that we too need to rest and be amongst people who care for us. To not feel ashamed by playing games in the wintry landscape, sitting in front of a fire reading, or taking the day to sleep as bears do when the leaves begin to frost. The ground, too, benefits from winter, for plants need rest. Snow allows the ground to be insulated so its soil can retain the vitamins that help keep our bodies strong when we harvest in summer and autumn. There are many areas I find I still lack balance when my body fails me. And when it often does, I have a hard time allowing myself to rest. I feel guilty because I don't seemingly have the same stamina as my peers. I often catch myself comparing my artistic abilities to others as well, which pushes me to make art for the sake of audience instead of myself. Over the past few years, I've let myself become a recluse, making me a bit unbearable when my family members even leave for a day at work, and I sense these imbalances. I know their effect on me and how negative they are. As 2024 begins, I want to remind myself to rest when my body fails and create art simply for myself. Go explore and remind myself to exist in the present every so often. Balance is essential to life. It is a hard concept to build, but it's a challenge that I see being worthwhile. Building is such a broad term, but it all boils down to examples of fortification, whether it be from nothing or continuing on a legacy. For me, building applies to my thoughts on this year in just that broad of a spectrum. I hope to build myself in a community, as I know I was not made to live my life isolated and alone. I have high hopes to continue building myself along with my strength as I feel more capable with each passing day. My capability allows me to have more of a presence here on the World Wide Web, as I hope to build a better social media presence for myself, which will in turn help me to build financial stability. It seems like such a basic word to use for 2024, but in that simplicity, I allow myself to be challenged in a wide array of areas. But I can't build without knowing first how to protect what's mine. It is a simple and straightforward goal that I have set for myself. Moving forward into the future cannot be done without acknowledging first the past. The past 3 or so years have been battles. I had to fight for myself, fight for my strength to keep fighting for myself. Now that I'm entering a new threshold of opportunity, I refuse to give up what I have fought for. I know who I am. I know I have come far, and I refuse to go back. I have to protect myself, protect the strength that I fought for, but that doesn't mean becoming hard of heart and adopting an attitude of not caring if the world burns, so to speak, but not letting the world control my who, what, when, where, why, and hows. It's not their place. They don't know my story. They don't know my perspective. I can be understanding with a compassionate heart to someone with different perspectives perspectives or even values, without bending myself to who they want me to be. I can be understanding while keeping myself because I fought for her. I'm proud of her. I don't want to lose her creative spark again. I often feel as if I have one foot in two worlds. There's a foot in this very real world, which I have been privileged to exist in. And there's also a foot in places elsewhere, often leading me to places full of story-rich characters. And this isn't a surprise to anyone who's known me since I was little. With having one foot in two worlds, I often stump myself creatively, not knowing how people would react, fearing a negative response. It's caused me to let some of my most vivid ideas slip through my fingers, or a spark of creativity to learn a new skill fizzle and become a fear, or just fearing making mistakes. But that's what makes being an artist fun. I get to learn from mistakes. I get to laugh at the failure I've made. I have hindered my inspiration due to trends. And this year, in 2024, I'm embarking on the scariest challenge yet, allowing myself to create unapologetically, really sinking into what I so strongly believe in. Art is really like soup. It can be anything, and I want to bring you all along for the ride, not just through the successful projects, but through the failures. Often, it's through the failure that we learn the most. 2024, I am so ready for you. I ride towards you, sword unsheathed, ready to begin whatever adventure you have for me. I am willing to be changed through building, balancing, protecting, and creating unapologetically. This quest is not for the faint of heart, but my heart is anything but faint. My lungs are giving me so much trouble. I don't want to do this, but I have to. It's just how things be. Okay. Gotta burp. Hold on. Okay.